Good evening and thanks for watching Fox 21 News at 9. I'm Abbie Burke. Following outcries from the family and a written request, Charlotte police announced they will now release all of the body cam and dash cam video recorded during the fatal shooting of Keith Lamont Scott. Well, Joe, one of the biggest complaints is that the 30-page bill is confusing.
The room had been pretty quiet for a while after I last spoke to you, but it just exploded again with the news that Trump has taken Wisconsin and Iowa.
We're following two wildfires today. First happening right now, the Junkins fire out of Custer County is continuing to grow in size. Robert Louis Deere back in court today. He's still incompetent to stand trial, but we are learning more about other aspects in this case. Right now, federal investigators asking for witnesses to the deadly train crash in New Jersey to come forward. The Broncos are getting ready to head to San Diego to take on the Chargers without their head coach, Gary Kubiak.
We have early numbers already. 3 states reporting with Trump with a lead over Clinton so far.
That's right. Currently, Trump leads 19 electoral votes over Clinton's 3. He took Kentucky and Indiana, and she claimed Vermont.
I want to show you what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of smoke in this area, and it's heavy, dark, thick, black smoke.
We do know from earlier that 3 police officers were injured during that earlier shooting, but then we have had reports that there has been more gunfire happening just within the last half hour or so.
We are now coming to you from the shopping center where this all began late yesterday morning. Just over my shoulder to the left is the Planned Parenthood clinic where this all ended.
A Colorado woman claims her dog tried to stab her, and she has the wound to prove it. A lot of us like to cook, and some of us just,
I know you do,
just like to share what we're eating online. That's really more my speed. But this woman from the UK shared this lovely looking ice cream cone, but you see that seagull in the background? Yeah, this one's gonna end badly as the bird swoops down to catch a bite. Look at that. And she happened to catch the picture right at the right time. The photos were shared on Instagram, grabbing thousands of likes in just a few days. You can't even be mad about that because now you got a great picture and a great story out of it. Let's go ahead and take another live look at this fire tonight. You can see a lot of smoke, and it just kind of seems to go on forever. So far, more than 5,000 acres have burned, with nearly 1,900 people forced from their homes. 8 homes and 6 outbuildings are destroyed, with the winds hampering fire crew efforts. Now, even if you are under pre-evacuation orders, firefighters say it's best to get out now. We told you earlier about the mandatory and pre-evacuation orders that are in place right now. And if you'd like to see those again, head to our website, fox21news.com, and just search Beulah Hill Fire. I gotta ask you, what's the cutoff for a cuddle alert?
Oh, well, it's got to be, you know, 20s and teens for us. I looked it up,
Oh. You looked very specific.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Fox 21's Abbie Burke joins us now to explain. Abbie.
Scott and Lauren, Stephen Hamer has lived in Trinidad since 2014 and has to use a wheelchair to get around. The only problem, there's a lot of places he can't access. He says he's tried to work with the city in the past, but he's been ignored, leaving him no choice but to file a lawsuit. Meanwhile, the city acknowledges it has major problems, but says for a city that was founded in the late 1800s, it's doing the best it can.
Now this is a sidewalk. How do you like it? We have a stop sign, we have a tree, we have a lamp post, we have another tree.
Stephen Hamer is fed up.
Do you see the point I deal with every day?
He says for years he's asked the city of Trinidad to provide access to all, even offering to work together. But when little progress was made, he said the only place he had left to turn to was the courts.
I have to sue the city because if I don't, they're never going to do it.
To prove just how bad it is, Stephen took me on his route to the post office, pointing out problem areas along the way.
Here, Miss Abbie, how do you like that?
Problems like no curb cuts, broken and cracked sidewalks, and ramps that are too steep.
I have literally been thrown out of my wheelchair on this.
In some places where he can't get on the sidewalk, Stephen says he has no choice but to travel in the street.
Generally, people wave at me with one finger, and they yell out, "Get on the effing sidewalk, you piece of shit." I couldn't live a normal life. I wanted to go out for dinner and I couldn't get to a restaurant because I couldn't get up on a sidewalk.
When I asked City Manager Gabriel England about Stephen's complaints, he admitted that parts of the city of Trinidad are not ADA compliant and there's a lot of work to be done.
We agree.
But he says they are making progress and are committed to making Trinidad accessible to all its citizens.
We're spending more than $700,000 only on ADA compliance this coming year. It's about 7 to 8% of our entire general fund budget. To put it in perspective, that's as much as we're paying fire response personnel, twice as much as we're putting into 911.
Still, Gabriel says it will take millions to get the city fully compliant and time.
Curb cuts alone is about an $8 million problem. So if we take the $800,000 we're spending in this budget year and did nothing but curb cuts, that's 10 years.
Time Stevens says he doesn't have.
Do they need to make these changes overnight? Absolutely not. Do they have the financing to do it overnight? No, they don't, and I understand that. But my goodness, they could do something.
We're putting almost every penny we have behind this, and we're putting pennies that we don't have behind this, and we're trying hard to be compliant. And I think we're doing a pretty good job with the resources that we have.
Now, the city says they are working on prioritizing projects and are seeking feedback on which areas, like the post office, need to be addressed first, adding they want the majority of the issues fixed within the next 3 to 5 years. Stephen's take on that right now is he'll believe it when he sees it.
And Fox 21's Abbie Burke introduces us to these lovesick lads. Abbie?
Joe and Lauren, when the cool weather hits, it's game on for the male tarantulas. But just like in the human dating world, sometimes love can be crushing.
This time of year, southeastern Colorado is alive with activity.
This is the time with pumpkin patches, farmers markets, so it's a wonderful time for folks to come down on the Comanche grassland. The weather's perfect for hiking.
The changing seasons also bringing the lure of love.
It's definitely something you're going to notice when you're driving down the road.
Each fall, mature male tarantulas hit the road, literally.
They're easy to recognize because they're fairly large. A male tarantula can be, with his legs, could be maybe 5 inches across.
But finding love is risky business.
For the male tarantula, this time of year could be pretty hazardous.
In the tarantula world, it's tough being the guy, and it's up to them to go find the girls, which means taking on predators, cold temperatures, and of course, tires.
Sometimes they might be squished on the road.
If they can survive all of that, the males still only get one shot at love and will die within a few months.
Many of them die of the first frost. After they reach maturity, males die off pretty quickly.
For this species, it's lucky to be a lady. Females never wander far from the burrow and can live up to 25 years.
When weather gets colder, they block up the hole of their burrows so they can stay warm underneath.
These spiders may look frightening, but these giant softies aren't out to hurt anyone.
Tarantulas, they're big, they're hairy, so that intimidates a lot of people. But in general, they're considered pretty gentle pets.
If provoked, they may bite, but tarantulas aren't dangerous to humans.
And they don't move that fast, so you can always walk away from them.
These men are definitely eye-catching, but it's a love story that doesn't end with happily ever after. Still,
for the survival of the species, it's worth it.
And the tarantulas really seem to come out in the evening just before dusk, and they were everywhere. If you decide to go on your own spider hunt, the best place to look is in rangeland areas like the Comanche grassland, not so much cropland areas, but trust me, if they're around, you will not miss them.
It started like a normal Colorado Sunday with a family hike up Helen Hunt Falls. 12-year-old Lily Baker and her younger brother ran up ahead.
We were just walking around and me and him were looking for gold in the river.
Their mom, Amber, just a few steps behind when she heard that someone fell.
I mean, I was only a couple feet from the top, and they're yelling at me saying it was Lily.
Lily had slipped on the rocks at Cascade Falls and tumbled 75 feet down the hill.
I'm screaming, no, that's my daughter.
Lily's mom and a few good Samaritans started down after her.
I was sliding down on my bottom. I made him stay up there, and I'm just screaming.
When they finally reached her, Amber collapsed at the sight.
I couldn't do anything, and it's a matter of I couldn't even, I couldn't help her, and all I could do was just wait.
Lily was flown to the Children's Hospital in Aurora, where she spent 5 days, but she doesn't remember most of them.
I don't even remember waking up in the hospital until 3 days later.
She also doesn't remember her fall.
I was just walking over the edge because I wanted to see if I could get back down to there with just walking.
Lily has 2 ankle fractures, a nose fracture, and 3 skull fractures.
She has the one right here with the 5 stitches. She has one back here and then a temporal one back here by her neck more.
Surprisingly, doctors say she will make a full recovery, but it won't be easy.
She gets flustered with a lot of stuff now, it's hard for her, but we'll get there. The main thing is she's freaking out about how she's looking right now. But that's a 12-year-old for you.
Like a lot of 12-year-olds, Lily didn't have much to say. But she does have some advice.
Just not to walk over the edge.
And
wear tennis shoes.
Like her goddad said, she's not lucky, she's blessed. So we really do feel we had a guardian angel or two watching over her.